Hello Maya, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for asking. I've been looking forward to our chat. It's always such a highlight to dive into a big topic with you and
My
really
name is
explore all the
Mohammed
little.
Hashir Rehan and I am student of Rehan Quetta campus. Today my topic is about sorry not sorry. My first question is what does the phrase sorry not sorry mean?
That's a fascinating twist on the word we talked about before. When someone says sorry, not sorry, they're using a bit of irony. On the surface, they're saying the word sorry, but the not sorry part completely cancels it out. It's basically a way of saying, I know this might be unpopular, or I know it might bother you, but I'm actually perfectly fine with what I did or what I believe. It's less of an apology and more of a bold statement of confidence or even a little bit of defiance. For example, if someone tells their friends, I just ate the last piece of cake, sorry, not sorry, they aren't actually asking for forgiveness. They're admitting they did something a little selfish, but they enjoyed the cake so much that they don't actually feel any guilt about it. It's a way to acknowledge a social rule like the idea that you should share while simultaneously deciding that the rule doesn't apply in this specific moment because the reward was worth it. It's very different from a real apology where the goal is to make things right and show empathy for the other person. Sorry, not sorry is more about owning your actions and your opinions, even if they make other people roll their eyes. Almost like a playful way of saying, this is who I am, and I'm sticking to it.
Is sorry not sorry a real apology?
Exactly. There is a massive difference between the two. A real apology is all about empathy. It's when you recognize that you've hurt someone or made a mistake and you genuinely care about how the other person feels. The goal of a real apology is to repair the relationship and make things right. It requires humility because you're admitting you were wrong, and it usually involves a promise to do better next time. It's a bridge that connects two people after a conflict. Sorry, not sorry, on the other hand, is more like a wall. Instead of trying to fix a connection, it's a way of asserting yourself. It's often used when someone is proud of their choice, even if, that choice was a bit rude or unconventional. While a real apology says, I care more about you than I do about being right. Sorry, not sorry says, I care more about my own satisfaction or my own opinion than I do about your reaction. One is a tool for healing and it's the difference between wanting to be forgiven and wanting to be seen as bold.
When do people say sorry not sorry?
People usually lean into sorry, not sorry when they've done something that they know is technically against the rules or a bit selfish, but they feel absolutely no regret about it. It often comes up in, moments of playful defiance or when someone is making a statement about their personality. For instance, imagine someone who loves a movie that everyone else hates. They might say, I think this movie's a masterpiece. Sorry, not sorry. In that case, they aren't actually apologizing for their taste. They're doubling down on it. They're acknowledging that most people disagree, but they're proud of their opinion and aren't going to change it just to fit in. It's also very common in social media culture. You'll see people post a photo of themselves relaxing on a beach while everyone else is at work with a caption like, taking a Tuesday off. Sorry, not sorry. Here, the phrase is used to highlight a bit of a guilty pleasure. The person knows that traditionally you're supposed to be working on a Tuesday, but they're so happy to be on vacation that they want the world to know they aren't feeling any guilt at all. Beyond the playful stuff, it can also be used in more assertive or edgy ways. Someone might use it after setting a firm boundary that others find inconvenient. If a friend is constantly asking for favors and someone finally says no, they might later tell another friend, I stopped letting them take advantage of my time. Sorry, not sorry. In this scenario, it's a way of validating their own decision to prioritize their mental health over someone else's expectations. Essentially, it's used whenever there's a clash between a social expectation, like being selfless, agreeable, or hardworking, and a personal desire. When the personal desire wins and the person is happy about it, sorry, not sorry, becomes the perfect way to express that lack of remorse. It transforms a potential moment of shame into a moment of confidence.
Is sorry not sorry polite or impolite?
That is a really great question because it's a bit of a gray area. If we're looking at it from a traditional standpoint, sorry, not sorry is generally considered impolite. This is because a core part of being polite is showing consideration for other people's feelings. When you say you're not sorry, you're essentially telling the other person that their feelings or the social rules they value aren't as important as your own desires. It can come across as dismissive, arrogant, or even a little cold because it takes the form of an apology, but then immediately rips that apology away. However, context is everything. If you're with close friends who share your sense of humor, sorry, not sorry, can be completely polite or at least socially acceptable because it's understood as a joke. In those cases, it's a form of playful banter. Your friends know you aren't actually trying to be mean. You're just being cheeky about something small, like loving a weird food combination or being obsessed with a cheesy pop song. In that setting, it's not about being rude, it's about sharing a bit of your personality in a lighthearted way. But if you were to use that phrase in a professional setting, like with a teacher or a boss, it would be seen as very impolite. Imagine telling a teacher, I didn't do my homework because I wanted to play video games. Sorry, not sorry. That would be seen as a lack of respect for the teacher's authority and a lack of responsibility toward your education. In that context, it's not playful, it's defiant. So it really depends on the relationship you have with the person in the situation you're in. It's a phrase that walks a fine line between being confidently honest and being intentionally rude. It's the kind of thing that can make people laugh in one room and make them feel insulted in another.
How is saying sorry not sorry different from saying simple sorry?
The difference is really all about where the power and the emotion are sitting in the conversation. When you say the simple sorry, you're essentially handing the power over to the other person. You're acknowledging that you made a mistake or caused them distress, and you're asking them for forgiveness. It's a humble position. You're saying, I value our relationship more than I value being right. And you're inviting the other person to help you fix the situation. A simple sorry is an invitation for connection and healing. It's a way to soften a hard moment and show that you have empathy for how someone else is feeling. But sorry, not sorry does the exact opposite. Instead of handing over power, it's a way of grabbing it and holding on to it. It's a declaration of independence. When someone says sorry, not sorry, they are stating that they are completely comfortable with their actions, regardless of how it affects others. There is no request for forgiveness because they don't believe they've done anything that requires it. Well, a simple sorry focuses on the other person's pain or inconvenience. Sorry, not sorry focuses entirely on the speaker's own satisfaction or conviction. Think of it like this. A simple sorry is like extending a hand to someone you've accidentally bumped into, trying to make sure they're okay. Sorry, not sorry is like bumping into someone, looking them in the eye, and deciding that you were walking in the right direction and they were just in your way. One is an act of kindness and social glue, while the other is an act of self assertion and boundary setting. It's the difference between wanting to be in harmony with someone else and wanting to be in harmony with yourself, even if it means creating a little bit of friction with the people around you.
My last question is, why has sorry not sorry become popular in young people?
That's such a perceptive question. And I think it really comes down to how the world has changed for younger generations. For a long time, social rules were all about fitting in and following the crowd. Politeness often meant blending in and making sure everyone else was comfortable, even if it meant hiding your true feelings. But for young people today, there is a much bigger emphasis on authenticity and being your true self. There is a real cultural shift toward owning your identity and your preferences without feeling the need to apologize for them. Sorry, not sorry is like the anthem for that movement. It's a way for young people to say, I know I'm different and I'm okay with that. It turns the idea of being weird or unconventional into a badge of honor rather than something to be ashamed of. Then you have the huge influence of social media. Platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and X are all about curation and personal branding. When you're posting a photo or a hot take for thousands of people to see, you aren't just talking to one friend, you're presenting a version of yourself to the world. In that environment, appearing confident and unapologetic is often more valued than being traditionally humble. The phrase fits perfectly into a caption. It's short, punchy, and a little bit edgy. It creates a persona of someone who is bold and doesn't care about the critics. There's also a bit of a rebellious streak to it. Every generation finds a way to push back against the expectations of the adults before them. While older generations might see it as rude, young people often see it as a way of rejecting outdated social pressures to always be agreeable or selfless. It's a way of prioritizing their own mental health and personal boundaries over the need to please everyone around them. So, it's a mix of a desire for authenticity, the nature of digital communication, and a general shift in how power and confidence are viewed. It's less about wanting to be mean and more about wanting to be seen as a strong, independent individual who doesn't need permission to be themselves.
Okay, Maya, nice talking with you.
It was absolutely wonderful talking with you too. I really enjoyed diving into the nuances of sorry, not sorry with you today. You always bring such thoughtful questions to the table. I'm looking forward to our next deep dive whenever you're ready. Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.